Hi there, today I wanted to show you how to make chevre cheese, your very own goat cheese at home. I'm starting with some fresh raw goat milk, but you can also make it from goat's milk from the store. If you get it from the store, you have to boil it or get it to 180 for a long period of time to kill any bacteria that it may have picked up. So what you're going to need is some cultured buttermilk. This is from the store. You can also get a starter through any cheese making sites, and also some liquid rennet. This we got from Hoger. We got a whole cheese making kit, and I'll show you. This was part of it, is this special cheese making ladle thing, but honestly you could use a whisk. Stainless steel is preferred. Plastic I guess will work. I've used other things too. So let's get started. I have 5 quarts of milk here. I have done a half batch before and it works just fine, and I'll tell you what the dimensions are for that too. So what you're going to need is 1/4 cup of cold water, and we're going to put some rennet in it, and I'll show you that. Okay, so I got my cold water here, and I'm going to dilute this rennet, and we only need 2 drops. 1, 2. Any more than that and the cheese might be more solid than we want. This is going to be a semi-soft cheese. So we've diluted it, and I'm going to pour it in here. Ordinarily I'd be stirring it the whole time, but I am recording with one hand and stirring with the other. You know, normally I would actually put the buttermilk in there first, especially if you're using warm milk in any way, because it's going to start to solidify. So you're going to want to add 1/2 cup of the buttermilk. That's 1/4 cup here, so it's not easy to do one-handed. There we go. So I got 1/2 cup of buttermilk. That's our culture. That's gonna that bacteria is going to spread, and it's going to give us the tanginess to our cheese. It's also going to preserve it. The rennet solidifies it so that it gets nice and thick, and we can strain out the whey from it and make our cheese. So you want to stir it for about 30 seconds in an upward-downward motion, just to be sure that we've got the culture and the rennet mixed all the way in. I will tell you, I'm a little disappointed. I wanted to show you how to do this with all ingredients you can get at your local grocery store. But when I did a little research, I found out that these junket tablets that you can get in the pudding aisle don't work on these semi-soft cheeses. They'll work for something like mozzarella, but you can't measure it that small. So I'm a little disappointed. Okay, so I got that put away. I'm going to go ahead and strain a batch that I had made earlier. It's been out all night. Instructions are 8 to 12 hours. Normally if it's fresh milk that's warm, it'll take around 8 hours. If it's cold, it'll take more like 12 hours, simply because the bacteria spreads quicker, as well as the rennet is activated by heat too. So here I have, this is a plastic cheesecloth that came with our cheese making kit. You can also use cheesecloth that you buy at the store, grocery store, as well as I've heard old pillowcases work nicely too. So this is what it's going to look like when it's done. See if you can see it real well or not. Got one large curd in the middle, and the rest is kind of transparent, so you'll definitely see a separation from the curds and the whey. Just trying to give you a really good look at it. So what I'm going to do is pour that through this strainer, stainless steel, and catch the whey in the bottom, because you can do things with the whey as well. Okay, so I have a large recipe here, and that strainer was a lot bigger than what I should have had. I should have had a strainer in there, but I didn't have one available. So if you line the strainer in a large bowl or in the sink, it should work. So here's what I do. Tie each end to the opposite side, so you're going to have two knots here, and you're just going to hang it. You can hang it from a very, very large stock pot with a spatula going across it, or even your kitchen cabinets. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and I'll show you what it's going to look like. You need a really large stock pot because it's going to reduce more than half in size, and we're going to leave it up overnight, 8 to 12 hours, until there's no drippage. Okay, this has been straining all night. See how small it is? We're just going to untie this and add a teaspoon of kosher salt. Okay, so that's about a teaspoon of salt there. I'm just going to work it into the cheese. What this does is preserve it, so you can keep it in the fridge for up to 2 weeks. Or you could just omit the salt and put it in the freezer for later. So I'm just going to work this into the curds here. You don't want to overwork it. You don't want it to be chewy. You don't want to change the texture of it. This makes about a pound of cheese, maybe a pound and a half if you get a higher yield. So don't forget to thumbs up the video in the bottom left hand corner, subscribe in the top left, and click next video above for our next video in our fermented dairy product series.